Hello everyone, I'm Mello. Welcome to the second episode of Making My House Less Dumb. Today, we're going to make my bathroom extractor smarter. Here's the problem with my bathroom extractor fan. We just moved into our new apartment and we've installed Hue light bulbs everywhere. So all of the light switches have been made redundant, laid off. They're probably going on strike, but we'll deal with that later. Except the bathroom light switch, because the bathroom light switch is directly wired into the bathroom extractor fan. If I have to leave the bathroom light switch on the whole time, that means the bathroom extractor fan is on the whole time. Which gets annoying, especially that it's literally in that corner of my office. It's very irritating. That doesn't mean my bathroom is in the office. It's on the other side of this wall. So the bathroom extractor fan is right there. And if I turn it on, you can hear it. And you can hear it in my live streams. It's very annoying. So, to mitigate this, I'm going to make it smart. Just a quick safety warning. Turn off the power to the fan. Now, normally, I would actually do this on my fuse box, but since it's connected to the light switch, I'm just going to flick the light off and I should be good. But I'm still not going to touch the wires. So first, we're going to remove the cover from the fan, and then I'm going to remove the wires from the fan. And for the time being, I'm going to put them in one of these lock nut wire connectors. They're pretty cheap. You can get them on Amazon and eBay. They're not the original ones, but they work. And that's where I'm going to leave that. And then when that's done, we can remove the whole fan from the ceiling and move over to my desk. And now that it's on my desk, we can take a closer look at it. And right off the bat, I've noticed that it does have some kind of humidity/timer abilities, but they seem to be bypassing them by just shorting the signal wire straight to live. So, useless. I have tried looking up the fan, but it seems to be so generic that it doesn't have a brand name or even any kind of serial number. So, I don't know. It's probably from Poundland. So my plan is to put a relay switch in between the live and the fan itself, and then have that be controlled by a DW Mini, which will also handle a BME 280, handles pressure, temperature, and humidity. The pressure's kind of redundant, but it's there, so why not? Then I'm also going to have a tiny power converter that goes from 230 down to 5 volts for the electronics in there. Since I've reused these electronics from my previous project, I've had to do a little bit of a cleanup. By the way, when I'm doing projects like this, I'm usually streaming on twitch.tv, so follow the link in the description to find me there and follow. And I'm still working things out, but I try to stream at least once a week, or just whenever I'm working on something that takes longer than 5 minutes to do. Did I mention I'm ADHD? By the way, this is my wall of sticky notes. Oh look, here's the video we're working on. That can go in the bin. And now that we've cleaned up the electronics, we can start wiring them together. The BME 280 uses I2C for its connections. Now, depending on what ESP32 board you're using, these inputs may vary, so just check your datasheets. By the way, you realize you're kind of old when you're scrolling through the internet to find datasheets. It was a weird moment for me. It's also a fun moment when you realize everything has a datasheet, and then you end up going and trying to find random shit. It's like, ooh, you've got a datasheet. I'ma scroll through you. Usually the best thing you learn is like its operating temperatures. And the relay switch only has one signal pin, so that can just be connected to whichever. In my case, I connected it to D7, and from there we can flash the ESP32 with some code. So let's move over to the computer. And with that, I need to make some more tea. I've got my tea. Now we're going to go to Home Assistant, and in our Supervisor tab, we're going to download ESP Home. ESP Home is a wonderful tool that makes programming ESPs with loads of different attachments super easy. And now, into ESP Home. And I'm gonna drink some more tea. Right, now in ESP Home, we're going to click the little plus on the right hand side bottom of the screen, and we're going to give this project a name. We're going to give it our credentials, And we're also going to select the board we are using. And now from there, we can get it to build our bin file and we can download it to our computer. Now on our computer, we're going to use the ESP Home flashing documentation. So download ESP Home Flasher and plugging your DW Mini into your computer. Now for whatever reason, ESP Home Flasher didn't want to work on my Windows machine. It kept giving me an access denied error. Now I couldn't figure this out and I went through all of the forums. What I ended up doing is just grabbing my MacBook and doing it from there, and it worked first time. And you only really need to do this process once per the ESP you're using, because after it's flashed, it actually pops up in the ESP Home tab as online, and we can do wireless uploading of code. Right, so to start off with, we're just going to put I2C in the code and upload it. And now in the terminal, that should give us the address of our BME 280, which we can just copy and paste into the next piece of code. So now we can go to the ESP Home website and find the BME code, and we can just copy and paste that into our code. All we have to change is the address and the names of the individual elements, just to make it easier to recognize later on in Home Assistant. By the way, you can also change how often the BME refreshes, so you can set it to a second or a few days if you really want to. And now also on the ESP Home website, we're going to grab the code for the relay switch, which is just a GPIO controller. And we're going to change the name of it and set it to control the D7 pin. And we're pretty much done. We're just going to verify the code and upload it to our DW Mini. Right, and now that that's all set up, we can go over to our integrations tab in the settings. And in there you can see that ESP Home has already picked it up, and you can start reading things and also control the switch. And bish bash bosh, we're almost done. Let's just put all the electronics into the casing and hot glue them temporarily into place. Let's just do a quick test to see that everything works as it should, and since it does, let's put it back in the bathroom. This was actually more difficult than you think. It was actually really annoying. They did not do a good job installing this fan in the first place, so there's like 4 different holes for each screw in the drywall, and also some of the screws going at like 45-degree angles just to hold the thing in place. Yeah, it's not great, but it's holding in there. Now I realize the wire sticking out of it doesn't look fantastic, but I've run out of white heat shrink tubing to put onto it. I will get some and I will do it so that it looks better. But for now, it's just gonna stick out the way it does. One more thing I recommend you do if you have an exposed sensor like this is put some kind of a sponge or some kind of material over it. Because take it from experience, the first time I used it, the humidity reached 100%, which means it was wet, and from there it just got corroded and I had to replace it the next day. Take it from me, put some kind of sponge on it. Right, now that it's all installed and it's all working properly, we're done. Right, if you've stuck around for this long, please consider subscribing and liking the video. And if you want to follow me on Twitch or any other platforms, all the links are downstairs in the subscription. All the links are in the description below. And have fun. See you next time.